I don't depend on a man, but I've learned and still learning to let him support me. And so this is a 3 multi-part series on this whole my journey of accepting that I meet certain gender stereotypes and that it's okay, and that I can't do it all even if I want to. So the first video kind of talk about that conversation that I had with my mom, and how her words stuck with me to be a strong, independent woman, that I could, that I don't have to depend on a man. And then this time in my 20s when I was totally living that life and paying, living on my own and paying my bills like a strong, independent woman, and then getting married and having this expectation that things would just be split exactly down the middle, like our finances and our household chores when we had kids. So having kids changed us. Married for better or worse, right? I was wrong. Like before kids, I thought I would be this super mom, being able to wanting and having this fulfilling life of doing everything. And I was really naive because I didn't factor in the differences that my husband and I have around parenting values, like what we valued as parents, and how that affected what we prioritized, given that our time had now become a hot commodity, right? We could no longer split things down exactly in the middle because we don't have the same amount of time to do the things that we want or need to. Responsibilities changed because taking care of a baby took precedence. Everything, like taking care of a baby, everything else had to be reshuffled. And literally everything else meant household chores, self-care, your career, hobbies, to social events. I mean, you can't ignore a screaming, hungry baby like you can a phone call or a text. You can't put your 4-year-old's tantrum on hold and reschedule that moment of, her tantrum to another day. You can't put the baby's dirty diaper on the back burner and postpone it for next quarter. You can't just leave your house to run an errand, go get coffee with a friend, without making sure your kids are taken care of, right? Someone's there to watch your kids. And really, you can't press pause or save as a draft on those parenting moments, those memories, like that time when your daughter asks you, why does daddy pee standing up? You can't just pause them. They come and they go because kids are living, breathing, organic beings. Becoming parents made us realize what was important to us. Not like the big life-changing things that you experience, when you become a parent, like, family first, or you stop caring about what other people think. You care less about what other people think. You have a little bit of spit up on your shirt, you're just like, whatever, right? Whereas when you're in your 20s, you have like even a small stain, lipstick stain, you're like, oh my God, right? But the day-to-day things, that's when you start realizing in the day-to-day things what really matters, right? Because your time is so precious that you really have to start prioritizing things. And it's logical to put the things that you care most about at the top of your to-do list. However, my husband and I had a different way of prioritizing that list. And this difference in how we prioritize stuff forced me to hang up my ego, swallow my pride, and accept a truth that I didn't want to believe. For most of my life, I didn't want to believe that I can't do it all, and I need him, I need a man to help me. It's okay that we fit some gender stereotypes. So I talked a lot about how I've always wanted to defy gender stereotypes, that I'm not that woman who doesn't know anything about her finances, doesn't know how to, fix a toilet, doesn't, pay for her own meals. Like, I didn't want to be that woman, that I knew how to do a lot of these male things. Because as a kid, I've always been the one to say, I can do anything a boy can do. And I believed in what the Spice Girls preached about girl power, right? Girl power. Girl power, right, Coupled with my mom's words, it became a mission for me to defy gender stereotypes, and of course, as well as Asian stereotypes. But becoming a mother has made me realize that there are some things that I do and I care about that meet that female stereotype. And that there are some things that my husband does that meet the male stereotype. And it's okay that we fit these gender stereotypes. It's okay, because that's what makes our marriage work and allows our kids to thrive in a happy and healthy home. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So for a long time, I didn't want to accept that we meet certain gender stereotypes. And I fought it hard by trying to have a hand in everything. And I remember I was 4 months pregnant with our son, when I told my husband I wanted to shovel the compost for our garden. And he didn't question me, because I knew I would give him an earful if he did that, and I would tell him off saying, you can't tell me what I can or cannot do as a woman, right? So he handed me a shovel and off I went. And my husband and daughter watched me from the kitchen window while I trudged slowly back and forth from that big compost pile, carrying bits of soil as much as I could handle, without stopping and sitting down. And it took a really long time. I mean, my back hurt, my arms were sore for days, but I managed to get all that compost out evenly spread across our yard. I'm not in my mother's position. I mean, when did defying gender stereotypes become denying who I am? What I needed to do was stop denying who I was just because I didn't want to fit a certain gender role. I am a woman. I can have feminine traits. I can be nurturing, soft, emotional. I can have domestic behaviors. I can behave domestically. I mean, I can be the one who cooks. I can clean. I can be the one that empties the dishwasher. I can be the one that cooks 90% or most of our meals. I can be the one that primarily cares for our children in the way that I care for them. And I can prefer to do some of those duties over masculine ones, like yard work, fixing the car, and home repairs, managing our rental property. As a feminist, it's about having the choice to choose how I want to define myself as a mother and as a wife, not what society expects me to. That's the difference, is having that choice. And maybe I meet certain social expectations for some things, but it's having the choice to meet that. I can be a woman who doesn't depend on a man and still be the same woman who needs his help. I'm not in my mom's position, okay? That's just like one of those things I need to say to myself. The social and cultural landscape has changed from when she was raising us. I'm not raising my kids during a time where women are supposed to, stay at home. I'm not married to a man who is more educated than me and has a higher earning potential than me. Money isn't the reason why I need him. And needing him doesn't mean I depend on him. There is no power dynamic between us because we need each other. And so coming to terms with that, those kind of truths, or coming to terms with those things, is what's helping me learn to let him support me. And his efforts are equally as important as mine, and vice versa. So it's kind of like effort you put into the houseboat is an effort. And every effort is just as important as the next. So managing a family of four is not an easy task. It's a lot of work. It's busy, it's chaotic, it's never ending. And because of that, it's between the two household heads, which is me and my husband. It requires constant, effective communication, a great deal of trust, accountability, a bit of grit between us to keep it above water. And most importantly, we need to appreciate, like my husband and I need to appreciate what the other can offer, and that every effort is equally as significant as it contributes to our overall family's well-being. And so because my husband and I prioritize things differently, my efforts may not seem as important to him as it does to me. And sometimes his efforts don't seem as important to me as it does to him. It's kind of like understanding that we're each obviously two different people with separate values, with separate beliefs, with separate priorities, but we're both contributing to an overall goal, which is our family's well-being and maintaining this kind of like harmonious family situation. Because I care more than him about being present with my kids and sitting down and taking the time to teach them skills and things that my parents couldn't teach me, right? Like managing your emotions or having difficult conversations or just even talking to them about things that my parents never talked to me about. And I value building authentic connection, strong authentic connection with my kids and empowering them to feel confident in their life journeys, life decisions that they make. You know, just I want them to have all those kind of life skills in managing whatever shit gets thrown at them. And what I worry more than my husband is how my kids will turn out and whether they'll have enough emotional and mental resilience to deal with loss, deal with pain, to deal with failure, to deal with, you know, someone talk behind their back, to deal with criticism, negative criticism, unwanted criticism, to deal with, you know, just the nastiness of the world, right? And as well as being able to have the skills to appreciate what life is beautiful in those moments. It's not that my husband doesn't care or worry about these things, it's that there are different things that he worries and cares about, and that his mind has other things that occupy it that don't occupy my mind. When I realize what he cares about and what he cares about the kids in his way, it makes me feel more reassured and more at peace with our situation, with the fact that I do more of that one-to-one childcare and that he's contributing in his own way. So he cares more than me about providing financially for the kids, okay? Allowing to have the things, the opportunities, and the experiences that his parents couldn't afford for him. And he wants to open doors for his kids that were closed for him when he was growing up. You know, he cares about ensuring that we are prepared decades down the road so that we can retire without worrying that we don't have enough. You know, and he worries more than me about, you know, paying down our mortgage and what our investments will look like and how he can expand his business and how he can create generational wealth so that he can leave a legacy for his kids. And we're both trying to leave a legacy for our kids. His is more, you know, the conservative approach of, you know, whether it's assets or things that he can invest for them. And for me, it's leaving a legacy of the skills and that emotional preparedness that I didn't get as a kid. So it's like, so we care about different things, right? But we both want our kids to have a better childhood, better adolescent period than we had. And then we share that common goal. And we both care about providing a happy and healthy home for our kids to grow up in. And we both believe that means if you want to have a happy and healthy home for your kids to grow up in, that you need to have a happy and healthy marriage for that to stand on. So if I had the same expectations for him as I do for myself, it would just create perpetual disappointment and resentment because I'm not him and he's not me. And so I've learned and still learning to empathize, seeing what's important to him and appreciating his efforts and the contributions he makes for the family. For example, like the effort he puts into building the gates in our yard, you know, means he's contributing to our family's security and safety, right? And the effort he puts into ensuring our rental property has an appropriate tenant, ensuring going through, talking to them, meeting up with them, means he's contributing to our family's, you know, financial goals and future. The effort he puts into renovating our kitchen and thinking about that means he's contributing to our family's living situation, improving our day-to-day life. And he's learned and still learning to empathize with me and seeing what's important to me and appreciating the contributions that I make to the family. I mean, the effort I put into talking to my neighbor about his smoking, reminding him not, smoke further away, means I'm contributing to our family's health and well-being and safety. And the effort I put into cooking meals and having, dinner at home instead of going out or having takeout, or ensuring that we all sit together, enjoy a meal together, means I'm contributing to our family's nutrition as well as connection and helping us save money. And the effort I put into initiating taking our kids out for a walk and going to the playground means I'm contributing to our family's physical health and mental health. Each of us has, like my husband and I, each of us has 24 hours to delegate to what needs to be done. And how we delegate these efforts required us to remove our egos and focus solely on the mission of having a happy and healthy family, rather, than the nuances of who is being stereotyped. And mainly that stereotyping stuff is for me. Like, I didn't like to be stereotyped, and what we thought was more important. And for me, it's like I had to really think about, it's okay that I'm doing something that a woman should be doing, and it's okay that he's doing something that is as important as something that I feel is important, because he feels the same way sometimes too, right? And then that's how how resentment is built. So on days when I'm just exhausted, stretched beyond my limits, and I see him taking an extra minute to check his phone to see if his client responded instead of getting the table ready for dinner, I really try and take a deep breath and wait, right? And that's how a lot of times when you just take a deep breath, it can help minimize any sort of urges or saying things that you shouldn't say. And sometimes you take a breath and wait, and you still want to say what you want to say, and you say, like, put your phone down, it still happens. But today, I'm going to take a breath and remind myself that we are both functioning with our hearts and minds at maximum capacity. We're doing the best we can, and letting him support me is just as important as me supporting him. So let me know your thoughts on, did you grow up trying to defy gender stereotypes? I'd love to know. And how do you feel when you actually fit them? Because for me, it's been kind of tough, but I'm slowly coming to acceptance of that. Let me know.